There's an old chestnut that warns against the perils of workplace dating that goes a little something like this. You don't where you eat. It's not classy, but it's pretty true. Because while some wrestlers can find what we hope is everlasting love within the wrestling community, others have signed up to eat some crap. I'm Senior Siete for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 WWE couples that ended horribly. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and doomsday device that notification bell. Also, Gordon Holmes, the guy who does all of my Senior Siete drawings, has released a graphic novel about pro wrestling. It's called The Bad Guy from Legacy Comics. It's a heartwarming tale of wrestling and marriage. We'd love for you to support him. He's done so much to support us. You'll find a link to purchase the graphic novel in the description below. Also, if you don't mind, we might skip a few of the couples in this one that we've already touched on a few times. Number 1. Steve Austin and Deborah Marshall. The Texas Rattlesnake, the toughest SOB in the WWE, the bionic redneck, Steve Austin is arguably the biggest name in professional wrestling history. While others have had more crossover success, it's tough to deny that he was the driving force behind one of the hottest times in the company history, the Attitude Era. He was a no-nonsense ass-kicker who would hit his stone-cold stunner on any and everyone without discrimination. He famously lived by the creed, "Don't trust anyone," so it was a little surprising when we found out he was dating one of the WWE divas, Deborah Marshall. Deborah, who at the time was best known for flashing her assets as a way of distracting her opponents, and making Jerry the King of Big Uncle Energy Lawler squeal like a teapot, seemed like a surprising partner for the no-nonsense Stone Cold. But once you take a look at his previous wives, I guess it makes some sense. The duo was married on September 13, 2000, and Deborah was eventually incorporated in some of Austin's storylines, including her becoming The Rock's manager in the lead-up to WrestleMania X7. Unfortunately, the honeymoon period would not last very long for the couple, as on June 15, 2002, Deborah made a distressing call to the police, accusing Austin of domestic violence. When the police arrived to the couple's San Antonio residence, they found Deborah with several bruises and a bloody nose. On August 14th of that year, an arrest warrant was issued for Austin in connection with the assault. He voluntarily surrendered to the authorities the next day, opting to plead no contest to the charges. The consequences of his plea resulted in a $1,000 fine, a year of probation, and a requirement to complete 80 hours of community service. The duo's divorce was finalized on February 5th, 2003, with Deborah eventually auctioning off her ring on eBay and donating a portion of the proceeds to a charity that supports victims of abuse. Number 2. Chris and Nancy Benoit. Yeah, it's kind of tough to do 7 wrestling couples that ended badly without mentioning the couple that ended the worst. Although, to be honest, I was a huge Chris Benoit fan back in the day, so I do not love talking about this. So let's just hit the big points. Chris and Nancy Benoit have one of the most unique beginnings for a wrestling couple, as they were both members of the WCW roster, with Chris Benoit being 1/4 of the Four Horsemen, and Nancy being the somewhat manager of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. At the time, Nancy was married to one of WCW's bookers and in-ring talents, Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan would write a storyline where Nancy would leave him for Chris, which set off a huge feud. In order to sell the realness, he encouraged Nancy and Chris to spend time together outside of the ring. And one thing led to another. Yes, Kevin Sullivan is the first man to book his own divorce. Chris and Nancy were married in 2000. They had a son, Daniel, who was also born in 2000. Then, in June of 2007, the wrestling world was shocked by the tragic events that unfolded in the Benoit household. Over the weekend of June 22, 2007, Chris Benoit murdered Nancy and their 7-year-old son, Daniel, before taking his own life. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the wrestling industry and prompted widespread media coverage. Investigations revealed that Chris Benoit had suffered from severe brain damage, likely due to repeated head trauma over his wrestling career. This led to a greater focus on the long-term health effects of concussions and head injuries in sports. The Benoit tragedy remains one of the darkest chapters in professional wrestling history, and if any good has come from it, it has led to increased awareness in the industry, focusing on the mental and physical well-being of its athletes. Number 3. Triple H and Chyna. Triple H has been given many chances to succeed in the WWE. After he survived the punishment he received for the Click's curtain call, he was given manager after manager, but nothing seemed to work, until he met Chyna. Dubbed the ninth wonder of the world, Andre of course being the eighth, China was the missing ingredient to finally elevating the Connecticut Blue Blood. Their professional chemistry translated into a real-life romance, and they soon became a power couple both on and off screen. As members of the influential D-Generation X faction, they played pivotal roles in the WWE's Attitude Era with their rebellious personas. However, Triple H's growing prominence in the company led to more demanding schedules and increasing pressures. It was during this time that his relationship with Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, began to develop. Initially, their relationship was purely professional, but it gradually evolved into a romantic one. The end of their relationship was difficult for Chyna, who found herself navigating personal heartache and professional challenges simultaneously. She left the WWE in 2001 under contentious circumstances, marking the end of an era for her character. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's relationship continued to grow both personally and professionally. They married in 2003 and became one of the most powerful couples in the wrestling industry, playing significant roles in the company's corporate and creative directions. Chyna's life after WWE was marked by struggles and attempts to find her place outside the wrestling world. Despite her pioneering contributions to the industry, she faced numerous personal and professional hardships. Tragically, Chyna passed away in 2016, leaving behind a complex legacy as a trailblazer for women in wrestling. Number 4. Alberto Del Rio and Paige. Alberto Del Rio, a seasoned veteran known for his charisma and skill, met Paige, a young and rising star with a rebellious spirit, in early 2016. In October of 2016, Paige shocked the wrestling world by proposing to Del Rio in the middle of the ring after a match in Puerto Rico. The engagement was a bold and unconventional move, as Del Rio had recently been released by the WWE and Paige was under suspension due to a wellness violation. However, the couple's relationship was far from smooth. Their time together was marred by numerous controversy and public incidents. In July of 2017, they were involved in a heated altercation at an Orlando airport, leading to a police investigation. Reports of domestic disputes and allegations of abuse surfaced, casting a shadow over their personal and professional lives. The wrestling community watched as the relationship became increasingly strained and volatile. They almost became a real-life Mickey and Mallory, a high-profile train wreck that was hard to look away from. Paige faced a series of setbacks, including injuries and suspensions from the WWE. The leak of private photos and videos added to her struggles, making her journey even more challenging. Meanwhile, Del Rio's career saw instability. He wrestled in various promotions, but continued to be surrounded by controversy and legal issues. By late 2017, the couple had officially parted ways. Both reflected on their tumultuous relationship, acknowledging its toxic nature and expressing a desire to move forward. Paige, now known as Saraya, has since focused on a recovery and career, signing with All Elite Wrestling 2022, while Del Rio continues to wrestle but remains a controversial figure. Number 5. John Cena and Nikki Bella. This episode is dark and depressing. Let's finish it off with some relationships that ended badly, but not like Shakespearean tragedy badly. John Cena and Nikki Bella's relationship was one of the most high-profile romances in the world of pro wrestling. The couple began dating in 2012, and their relationship quickly became a focal point of their public personas. They were often seen together in the media and on social platforms, sharing glimpses of their life both in and out of the ring. In fact, one of the many storylines from Nikki's Total Bellas reality show dealt with John not wanting to get married to Nikki after a failed marriage earlier in his life. This led to an actual storyline and feud at WrestleMania, where Miz and Maurice Mizanin would poke fun at the duo, and in particular, John's inability to commit. The highlight of the storyline, of course, was when Maurice and Miz would impersonate Cena and Bella, and we were faced with the insane equation that Nikki Bella's hot, Maurice is hot. When Maurice dresses as Nikki Bella, it's way hotter. I don't get it. And yes, I know I've used that joke before, but, recycling's good for the environment. In the climax of a tag match against Team Mizanin at WrestleMania 33, John would propose to Nikki in a dramatic moment that was broadcast to millions of fans. However, despite their strong bond, the relationship faced challenges. Both Cena and Bella were highly focused on their careers, which created tension and differing priorities. Also, Nikki wanted to have a family, and John didn't want that for himself. In August 2018, just weeks before their planned wedding, Cena and Bella announced their separation. Following their split, John Cena continued to focus on his career, balancing his work in WWE with a burgeoning career in Hollywood. Nikki also moved forward, embracing new opportunities and focusing on her career. Both have since married other people, and Nikki has even become a mother. So yeah, not so bad, although this is embarrassing in hindsight. Number 6. Morrow and Sable. Mark Morrow was a hot free agent in 1996. He had just come off a well-regarded series of matches against Diamond Dallas Paige in WCW, and when he showed up as a special guest at WrestleMania 12, the fans were giddy that they had snagged such a versatile talent. What they didn't realize was that Triple H's valet de jour was actually Mark's wife, Rena Morrow. After Triple H was trounced by the Ultimate Warrior in embarrassing fashion, he took the loss out on Rena, better known as Sable, and when Mark came to her rescue, the on-screen duo was born. Mark had some success winning a tournament to crown a new Intercontinental Champion after Ahmed Johnson was injured, but it was clear that Sable was becoming the star of the show. She'd send the Wild Man packing, in storylines at least, and become one of the biggest stars in the company. However, the relationship with WWE would turn sour in 1999 with Sable quitting and suing the company for $110 million, alleging unsafe working conditions and sexual harassment. The suit was eventually settled out of court. With all of that bad blood, it was a huge surprise when Sable returned to the company in 2003. While Rena was on the road, Mark looked after their daughter Mariah. It was during one of these road trips that Mark accidentally stumbled upon a suggestive voicemail from another wrestler. Mark would recount the encounter on the Stone Cold Steve Austin show, saying, "I was like, oh my God, Steve, I'll tell you, we've all been in this position before. My heart was broken. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're sweating. I remember thinking, when I find out who this guy is, I'm going to kick the living tar out of this man." And there's a good chance you know where this is going, but the other man was none other than the mayor of Suplex City, Brock Lesnar. Needless to say, Mark put aside his lust for vengeance and just got a divorce. A smart man. Number 7. Jerry Lawler and the Cat. Stacey the Cat Carter was 18 years old when she met 39-year-old Jerry Lawler in 1989. Oh, man. This one's starting off. However, the duo with a 21-year age gap didn't tie the knot until 2000. See? There's some restraint. Jerry had been the WWE's beloved color commentator for years when his then-fiancée joined the company in 1999 as Deborah Marshall's assistant, Miss Kitty. Get it? Puppies? Kitties? Genius. She'd only lasted in the company for a few years as she was unceremoniously fired in 2001 for being too difficult to work with. Lawler, showing solidarity with his spouse, tried to save her job, and when that failed, left the company completely. He had hoped to go to WCW, but WCW ceased to exist only a few weeks later. Bad timing. It was around this period that it was revealed that Stacey had allegedly been cheating on Lawler with a wrestling talent known as Sin Bodhi. You might know him better as Kizarny. Worst timing. The couple would split in the summer of 2001 and divorce in 2003. Well, there's our list. Did we forget any other wrestling couples that ended badly? If so, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and F5 that notification bell. Also, check out the description below for a link to Gordon Holmes' graphic novel, The Bad Guy. Until next time, I'm Singer Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.